Namo Namaha Bhaktam Sarvesham Hartam Swagatam. Welcome back to the channel Sanskrit Sopanam. So, moving on in our Learning Sanskrit through Gita series, this is the 36th shloka from the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And if you are following all the shlokas that we have covered so far, so you are quite aware of the context in these shlokas, what kind of reasons Krishna is giving to Arjuna and for what purpose. And in that same chain of thought, this is another shloka and what we can learn through the lens of Sanskrit. So all this we will see in this video. So without wasting any more time, let's quickly dive in today's video. Okay, so this is the shloka that we have today. Let me go through the shloka once. Avachya vadamscha bahun vadishyanti tavahitaha nindantastava samarthyam tato dukkhataram nukim. Okay, so here is the original Sanskrit shloka and this is the Sandhi Vichcheda of the same shloka. So what all Sandhis we can spot in the shloka? So you see this pada, avachya vadamscha. So in this Sanyukt pada, you have these two pada, avachya vadan and cha. And there is a Sandhi that is happening between this nakara of this purva pada and this cha. And due to this particular Sandhi rule, this nakara, this is getting replaced with this anuswara and a shakara. Okay, so as you can see here, avachya vadancha. So this becomes avachya vadamscha. Okay, so you can see nakara replaced with the anuswara and a shakara. And then if we move on, so we have bahun vadishyanti. So here there is no sandhi happening. It is just how the words combine in Sanskrit, right? But then we can spot another sandhi between these two padas, tava ahitaha. So here dirgha sandhi is happening, savarna dirgha sandhi, due to which tava ahitaha, this is combining as tava ahitaha. Okay, and then in the second line you can spot this pada, nindantastava. So here also there are two padas, nindantaha and tava. And very easily you can spot the sandhi here. It is a sakara sandhi, sattva sandhi. So nindantaha tava, it is combining as nindantastava. The visarga getting replaced with this sakara. Okay, sakara sandhi. And then if you further move on, then we have these two padas. Tataha dukhataram. So here also an ukara, utva sandhi is happening, due to which this tataha, this is changing into tato. So tataha dukhataram becomes tato dukhataram. This is ukara utva sandhi. Okay, so these are all the sandhis that are happening in the shloka. And again, all the sandhi details and all the word by word breakdown of the shloka, you have the PDF sheet that you can download from the link in the description box. So that is for your own practice. Now let us move on and start the decoding of the shloka. Okay, and we are starting the decoding with this kriya pada vadishyanti. And vadishyanti, this means they will speak. Okay. And what is the dhatu for this kriya pada? So we have vad dhatu. Vad dhatu is very common dhatu that means to say or to speak. Okay. And this vad dhatu in lit lakara. So the action that will be performed in the future. So simple future tense, lit lakara and prathama purush and bahuvachanam. So we are talking about multiple third person. That is why I am using they. Okay. So in all, this vad dhatu in these properties becomes vadishyanti. They will speak. Okay, so we are starting with this kriya pada, and if we'll move on, so the immediate question will be ke vadishyanti, who all will speak? And the response is ahitaha vadishyanti, ahitaha. See, this pada itself is composed of two padas. You have this pada hita, and hita, this in general means welfare. Okay, your wellness. No, we say in Hindi that tumhare hit ke liye hai. So it is for your own benefit, for your own welfare. But the way it is being used in the context of the shloka is yaha hitam karoti. Or yaha hitam ichhati, basically one who wishes for your welfare. So that is that hita. And now if we negate it, so it becomes ahita. Okay, and this ahita means one who does not wish for your welfare. So basically it means one who is your enemy, your shatru, your ripu, as we say in Sanskrit. And we are talking about multiple people. No, vadishyanti, bahuvachanam, plural. So this form also is in plural. It is prathama vibhakti bahuvachanam. So ahitaha. And tava ahitaha. Tava means your. This tava is of course coming from the Yushmat Sarvanama. Yushmat Sarvanama used for the Madhyama Purush, the second person, the listener. And tava is the Shashti Vibhakti Ekvachanam of Yushmat. Tava means your, because Krishna is directly addressing to Arjuna. And he's saying tav ahitaha vadishyanti, that your enemies, they will speak, they will say. Okay, so that is the context so far. And now the immediate question will be, kan vadishyanti, what will they say? Bahun avachya vadan vadishyanti. So see, vadan vadishyanti, vadan, this comes from the pratipadika vada. And this vada, this simply means the speech or the statement that is made or the words that are spoken. So that is this vada. And here in this samasa, we are qualifying this vada as avachya. And this avachya, this basically means unspeakable. Because see, this vachya, this means something that should be spoken. And avachya, something that should not be spoken. Basically something that is unspeakable. So combining these two padas in a samasa, avachya vada, this simply means unspeakable word, unspeakable sentence. And Vada changing into Vadan because again, Dutiya Vibhakti Bahuvachanam. Dutiya Vibhakti because this is the karma of this Kriya, this is the object. And Bahuvachanam because they are going to speak unspeakable words, different statements they are going to make. So Vada changes into Vadan, Avachya Vadan, unspeakable words, and this gives the meaning they are going to speak derogatory words, they are going to speak mean words, words of ridicule, words of insult, words of criticization. So all kinds of derogatory words, your enemies, they will say, they will speak. That is what Krishna is saying. And he is saying Bahun Avachya Vadan. Bahun, this is again coming from the Pratipadika Bahu. Bahu is an adjective that gives the meaning of many. Okay, many, several. This is an adjective, so this will also take the Dutiya Vibhakti Bahuvachanam form. So Bahu, this changes into Bahun. Same as this Vada becomes Vadan. Vada is a masculine gender, pullinga word. So in Dutiya Vibhakti Bahuvachanam becomes Vadan. So similarly, this adjective Bahu will also take the pullinga Dutiya Vibhakti Bahuvachanam, changes into Bahun. Bahun Avachya Vadan, many unspeakable words they will speak. That is what Krishna is telling to Arjuna. And this statement of Krishna is reflective of all the reasons he has given in the previous shlokas that we have seen. That, oh Arjuna, if you are not going to fight this war, then whatever reason, whatever noble reason you may have to not fight this war, but your enemies and the people in general, they will think that it is an act of cowardice. And due to the fear of battle, you ran away from the battle. So it is your cowardice and they are going to criticize you for the action. And this is what Krishna is saying here, that your enemies will speak many unspeakable words. Why? Because they will leave no chance to insult you and criticize your decision of not fighting the war. Okay, so I hope all the padas, they are clear. Now if we'll move on, so we have this question, Kim Kurvantaha, that your enemies, they are going to criticize you while doing what? And the response is, Tava ahitaha nindantaha vadishyanti. This nindantaha, let us understand this word. So this pada is a kridanta. So if it is a kridanta, we know it is coming from a dhatu. So the dhatu here is nind dhatu. Nind dhatu means to criticize, to insult, to put blame. Now in Hindi also we have this word ninda karna. So that is also coming from this dhatu only, nind dhatu. And here this nind dhatu is being modified using shatr pratyay. And if you remember the function of shatr pratyay gives the feeling of while doing the action. Okay, while eating, while studying, while dancing. So to give that flavor, while doing the action, we use Shatra Pratyaya with the Dhatu. And when we modify this Dhatu using Shatra Pratyaya, so Nindat, this is the Pratipadika that we get. And this Nindat Pratipadika, this means while criticizing or while insulting. So since this Nindat is describing this Ahitaha, so it is also going to take the same form. So it is the Pullinga Prathama Vibhakti Bahuvachanam form. This Nindat in Prathama Vibhakti is Nindan, Nindantau, Nindantaha. So that is this Bahuvachanam form, Nindantaha. Your enemies, while criticizing, will speak many unspeakable words. So that is the meaning this pada is giving. So I hope this Vyutpatti of this pada, this is clear. Now if we'll move on, so the immediate question will be, Kim Nindantaha? And the response is, Tava Samarthyam Nindantaha. That your enemies, while criticizing your Samarthya. And Samarthya again is a very common word. Samarthya simply means the ability or the strength, the power. Actually, the most apt meaning the Samarthya gives is the ability to do something. That is your Samarthya. So what Krishna is saying, that your enemies, while criticizing your ability, they will speak many derogatory words. Okay. And again, why they will criticize his ability? Because they will see his decision of not fighting the war as an act of cowardice. So they are going to question his strength. They are going to question his ability to even fight the war. Okay, so that is what Krishna is telling Arjuna. So I hope this pada is also clear. Again, Samarthya. This is the Pratipadika, Samarthyam. So again, Dutiya Vibhakti Ekvachanam, because this is the object of this verb-based adjective of this Kridanta. And see, we have seen this point before also. Nindanta, even though this is being used as an adjective to this Ahitaha, but this is an verb-based adjective. This is a kridanta. So this itself gives a flavor of action. So since it gives a flavor of action, so you have an karma, object for this action also. That while criticizing your samarthyam, your ability. Okay, so I hope this point is clear. And then in the end, we have one more statement. Kim nu tataha dukhataram. Okay, so let us understand this sentence. See, kim, this is used in the general sense as what? And Kim Nu, you will see this combination a lot of time. Kim Nu. This Kim Nu is basically what indeed. Okay, so this Nu is giving the flavor of this indeed. Kim Nu, what indeed. So see, what we see in Valmiki Ramayana in the initial verses of Balkanda. No, that portion of Balkanda which forms this Sankshep Ramayana. The entire summary of Ramayana is given in the initial verses of Balkanda. There, Narad Muni is asking this question, Kon aswin sampratam loke? And then he mentions a lot of different virtues, qualities of a man. But this pada, kon aswin. So this, if you split it, it is kaha nu asmin. Okay, that what indeed or who indeed in this world has this qualities. But they are also kaha nu, who indeed. So this nu just gives you the flavor of who indeed, that emphasizing that question. So similarly, kim nu, what indeed. And then what is the question? Tataha dukkha. Okay, you see this pada dukkha. So dukkha, dukkha means the sorrow, the pain. And when we modify this dukkha with this tarap, this suffix, okay, see, this suffix is not a krit suffix that we usually use with dhatu to create a kridanta. It is a tadhita pratyaya, it is a tadhita suffix. And these kind of suffixes are used within existing pratipadika to create a newer pratipadika, a new pratipadika. Okay, and parallelly to this, you may have noticed I am also covering all the krit suffixes, not all, the most common ones. So we are covering all the krit suffixes. When that is done, and I think only 1 or 2 videos are left, then we will move on to the tadhita pratyaya. We will see these particular suffixes also. But until then, just a quick intro that this tarap pratyaya we have seen before also. This pratyaya is added with any pratipadika to create a sense of comparison, that comparative tone. So dukkha pratipadika modified using tarap pratyaya creates another pratipadika dukkhatara. And this dukkhatara simply means more sorrowful or more painful. Okay, because now we are going to use it as a comparison. Okay, so that is the meaning. And see, just like this tarap, you also have tamap. Because if instead dukkhatara, you had dukkhatama. So that tama, that gives the sense of superlative, the most sorrowful, most painful. So that dukkhatama is formed using this tama pratyaya, the superlative sense. And this tara pratyaya gives the comparative sense. Okay, so kimnu dukkhataram. What indeed is more sorrowful? And more sorrowful than what? So that is this tataha. Tataha means then that. So Krishna, after giving all these reasons to Arjuna that your enemies are going to say unspeakable words while criticizing your ability, and then he's concluding with this statement, Kimnu tataha dukhataram. What indeed is more painful than that? That for a Kshatriya warrior and for a respected person such as yourself, what indeed is more sorrowful than that? That your enemies, they are going to speak derogatory words to you. They are going to criticize you, and joining them, even the general public are going to criticize you and going to think that you are a coward. So what indeed is more sorrowful, more painful than that? So I hope the impact of this ending statement, Kim nu tatah dukhataram, that is clear, and all the padas are also clear. Now let us move on and see the Anvaya along with the Anuvada. Okay, and see, one more thing, you see this cha. Cha basically means and. So think of these verses as a continuation dialogue. So no, we made one statement and another statement. So this cha is giving the sense of that continuation dialogue. That continuing from the previous shloka, Krishna is saying, and your enemies, tav hitaha, tava samarthyam nindantaha, while harshly criticizing or insulting your ability, bahun avachyavadan vadishyanti, Vadishyanti will say many unspeakable and derogatory words. And then he says, Kim nu tataha dukhataram. What indeed is more sorrowful, what indeed is more painful than that? And that is the entire meaning of the shloka. And again, you can see that Krishna, having realized this thing, that all these materialistic reasons are making an impact on Arjuna. So he is just continuing playing along with those reasons, those materialistic reasons that appeal at the personal level, at the personal fame, personal glory, personal respect, in all those level. So he is just playing along with all those materialistic reasons so that Arjuna can become more receptive to what he is supposed to do and what Krishna is trying to tell him. Okay, so we have seen this philosophy in play in the previous shlokas also. That is what is happening here also. So a simple shloka to understand, but a powerful shloka. I hope all the padas, everything is clear. You have the PDF sheet. If you have any doubt, in case I missed out something, you can consult that PDF sheet. It will be covered in that. I will now meet you in another video, in another shloka. Until then, stay awesome, stay happy, keep learning Sanskrit. Vayam punaha milamaha. Dhanyavad.